Hello everybody. I have what I feel is the most perfect job in the world. I drive a truck all over Norway. I drive about 50,000 kilometers a year. I think that's about 30,000 miles a year. And I often feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world to be driving in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Of course I'm biased because I am Norwegian and I'm very proud of this country, but I think some of you might agree that Norway is a very beautiful country, and we are very proud of it. We love to share it with tourists, and we love to show it to you. And so I thought I would start a series of videos where I just drive, you know. There's nothing much happening in these videos. I will just drive and you can feel as if you're a passenger on board my truck. I drive a Mercedes Actros, a 26-ton truck. It's not a trailer, it's a single truck, but it's a good car. It's a 2020 model. It's very safe and good to drive. I have the digital mirrors. We'll probably show you inside the car later, but for now this is now I'm driving, so I have to concentrate. Today I am in Brønnøysund, which is in North Norway, in the county of Nordland. It's a small city. Actually, I'm not in Brønnøysund yet. I'm on my way into Brønnøysund, so you will be able to see that. Very often when I'm driving, I think that you know, I see so much beautiful nature and scenery, you know, and I often feel that, you know, I should have shared this because it's so wonderful. And so this is the purpose of this video, is just to let you ride along. Now I'm talking quite a lot, but I think you will find that as time goes by I don't talk very much, but you can enjoy the scenery. As you can see, the roads here in Norway are very narrow, but people are used to driving on these narrow roads, so it's very rarely a problem. Of course, when we meet trucks on the small roads, then we sometimes have to stop, sometimes we have to back, but normally it just works out fine. I've never really had an accident. I drive nowadays I drive around 50,000 kilometers a year, as I said, but earlier I used to drive 120,000 kilometers a year, and I've actually never had an accident, you know, knock on wood. But so I feel quite lucky. But I think it's because I always try to drive relaxed, you know, keep a normal pulse, that's the best, and try to control the temper, that's most important. I really enjoy driving, and so this is something I do because I really love it. I get to see every part of Norway in all kinds of weather, and I feel that is really a big privilege for me. I run a small company who sell goods. I won't say what it is because it doesn't matter, but I deliver these goods all over Norway. So even though I could be sitting in an office, I don't, because I love what I do. I love to drive, and I love meeting my customers, and so yeah, so this is what I would do even if I didn't get paid for it. Now we are in Nordland, which is part of North Norway, but now we are in the south of Nordland, which means that we are south of the Arctic Circle. For those of you who don't know what the Arctic Circle is, it's a imagined circle around the globe, which marks it marks a special phenomenon where when you are north of the Arctic Circle, some time of the year in the winter you will have no sun at all, because the sun will be under the horizon. while in the summer the sun will be over the horizon for 24 hours, for all day long, all of the day and all of the night, without ever setting. It will go close to the horizon in the middle of the night, but it will never go under the horizon. It will just rise again, go up again. And this phenomena we call the midnight sun. And in the winter, as I said, we have no sunlight at all for some period of time. And the further north you come from the Arctic Circle, the less, the longer the period where we have no sunlight in the winter, and the longer the period where we have 24 hours of sunlight in the summer. So in the northernmost regions of Norway, I think it's about 3 months a year where we have absolute darkness and absolute light. I don't know if you could see this beautiful sunset here, but no, it doesn't show on the camera, but there's actually a beautiful sunset over the ocean here to the right of me. Too bad I can't flip the camera, but I cannot. It's a fixed mount, but yeah, we'll probably see that some other time. So when I say absolute darkness in winter, that's not really true. What we have is actually a long sunset without the sun ever showing itself. Or let me rephrase that. It's a long sunrise with the sun never coming above the horizon. And then it's followed by a long sunset without the sun ever showing. So it's actually more like a twilight. It's a bluish light in the middle of the day, and the rest of the day and night it's dark, completely dark. Of course, we have also the moon, and often also in North Norway we have the northern lights, which it's called Aurora Borealis, which is a beautiful. Yeah, it can be green, it can be purple, it can have many colors, flickering above the night sky. So it's very beautiful. Now I think we're turning, and then I think you probably see the sunset here. Yeah, we're driving across the bridge. There you can see the sun. It's beautiful. And it's a winter's day. Today is 20th of February. It's about around 0 degrees Celsius. So it's quite a normal winter's day in North Norway. Many people think that in North Norway it's very cold, but that's actually not true. It can get cold in the inland of Norway, but along the coast it doesn't really get cold at all. I mean, if you look at Norwegian standards for cold, I mean, if you live in Australia, you probably think this is cold, but for us this is not cold. The minimum temperature along the coast is very, very seldom more than minus 15, maybe minus 20 in extreme cases. But and the normal temperature is, you know, maybe a couple of minus or a couple of plus. This is because of the Gulf Stream, which is a stream of hot water coming from the Gulf of Mexico all across the world and ends up here. Which means that even though we are very, very far north, we don't really have very cold summers, and we don't really have very cold winters. It's I mean, the summers are not really warm either. They're more of a temperate climate where the temperature doesn't fluctuate very much because of the Gulf Stream. It's a very even temperature along the year. Normally in the summer here in North Norway, I would say the normal temperature is around 15 degrees Celsius, and it can, of course, we can have 30 degrees Celsius or 35 actually. You can have, but the normal temperature I would say is between 15 and 20 degrees Celsius. In the inland of North Norway, there you can get very much colder. Then you can get down to minus 50 degrees Celsius. Then it's really, really cold, and you're talking Antarctica temperatures. And that is because when you look at the how far north we are, at the same latitude in Russia, for instance, or in Canada, you have permafrost, which means the ground is frozen all year long. But here we don't have it because of the Gulf Stream that brings so much heat to these regions. Which means that we also have agriculture here in North Norway. We can grow even grain. So it's the climate is comparable to countries much further south in the world. And it may be hard to imagine now when you look at the snow and the winter that it actually is quite warm and pleasant here in the summer, but it is. Of course, everything is relative. If you think that 15-20 degrees is warm and pleasant, then it is. Then this is the place. In South Norway, it's actually very warm. The normal temperature, I live in South Norway, and the normal temperature in South Norway is, I would say, where I live in Sørlandet, which is the Norwegian Riviera, I would say. We have many places, coastal cities where people come to swim and beaches, and it's very nice there. And we also have a lot of sun there. It's much more sun there than most other parts of Norway. And there the normal temperature in the summer is between 20 and 25 degrees. But we can also have like 1 month of 30 degrees Celsius. So it can get really hot there. And the normal temperature in the seawater there in the summer is, I would say, a couple of maybe like 22 degrees, but it can get maybe 24-25 degrees in the best summers. And in the lakes in the inland in South Norway, it's not problem to find lakes where you have 28 degrees in the water, where it's like it's really hot. So South Norway it's quite pleasant, but we also have winters in South Norway. You know, it can get cold there, actually colder in South Norway than in North Norway, along the coast, because in the south of Norway, in the Oslo region, or Østlandet or Sørlandet as we call it, you don't really have much effect from the Gulf Stream, because the Gulf Stream is more in the west of Norway, along the Atlantic coast. So now you have seen I've driven through Brønnøysund. It's a very small city. It's not really a city at all. It's but okay. They call themselves a city, and so we call it a city. But it's just a small place. I don't know how many thousand people live here, but if I'm to guess, I would say 10,000 or something. I don't know. I should really know, but I don't. And now I'm driving further up the coast, because I'm going to a small island called Dønna, where I'm going to deliver something, and then I will be driving further north on this trip, up to Mo I Rana, and then up to Bodø, which is the coast town where the ferries go over to Lofoten. I won't be going with this ferry over to Lofoten this time. I have done it many times, but this time I'm just going to Bodø, and then I'm turning around and going back to South Norway. But it should be a nice drive. The weather is nice and quite calm. I don't know how good it shows, but the red sunlight from the sunset is really beautiful on the snow-covered mountains here. A little bit about myself. I'm 52 years old, turning 53 this year. I've been running my own business for almost 20 years. So love what I do. have a small farm in the south of Norway. I don't really grow anything, but I think, I mean, I have a greenhouse and we grow a little bit, but tomatoes and cucumber and such. But and this year we're gonna grow potatoes, and that's been some years since the last time I did that. And maybe we're thinking about getting some animals also, maybe some goats, and yeah, just for fun. But yeah, we'll see. It's not a really big farm. It's 120,000 square meters, so it's quite a small farm in Norway. And this is, as I said, this is my home is in the south of Norway, but what I feel like home is, even though I am born in Bergen, which is in the West Country, I have lived my whole life, or from when I was 7 till I was grown up, I lived in Tromsø, right outside Tromsø, which is in the Arctic region of Norway. So I really love North Norway, and I feel at home when I'm here. And my dialect is also from Tromsø, or a person from Tromsø would probably say that my dialect is not from Tromsø because I lived so many years in the south of Norway. But I would say my dialect is North Norwegian, not Tromsø dialect, but North Norwegian dialect. So okay, now I'm about to turn up to the coast of Helgeland. So I'm just gonna take a short break because I have to check the address and punch it into the GPS, and then I will turn on the video again.